Pull up a chair, my friend, because there is a $2 bottle sitting under your kitchen sink right now. That can do the same job as a $400 lawn service. The old groundskeepers all knew about it. The man who kept the ball field downtown showed it to me back in the 90s. A plain liquid mixed one certain way, put down on a bare spot at one particular hour of the evening. And within 2 weeks, that dead patch starts filling in with new grass while you sleep, with no sod and no service truck in the driveway. What nobody at the lawn store will ever tell you is that those $30 bottles on the shelf are built on the very same idea. They just cannot sell you the $2 version because nobody can patent what is already under your sink. And there is no repeat customer in a fix that costs pocket change. So stay with me all the way to the end, because the hour you put this down decides whether it works or fails completely. And the reason is one specific thing the sun does to bare soil that nobody ever explains. I'm Garry Strickland. I'm 63 years old. I spent my working life as a carpenter, and for better than 30 years, I've kept the same quarter acre in the same Midwest neighborhood. Most of what I know came from my old neighbor Earl, a World War II veteran with the thickest lawn on the street and nothing in his shed but a rotary mower and a coffee can of grass seed, and from the old groundskeepers around town who put up with my questions for years. Now let's talk about that bare spot of yours and why it never fills in no matter what you throw at it. You've put seed down. Maybe you bought one of those patch mixes in the green jug. The seed sat there for a week, dried out, fed the sparrows, and washed into the good grass with the first hard rain. Something else was going on underneath the whole time. When soil sits bare under the summer sun, the surface bakes into a hard crust, almost like a thin layer of pottery. And that crust does something most folks have never noticed. It repels water. Pour a cup of water on a baked bare spot sometime and watch close. The water beads up like rain on a waxed truck hood. It sits there a moment, then runs off sideways into the grass around it. The old fellas called that thirsty ground, soil so dry it forgot how to drink. So your bare spot is not dead ground, it is sealed ground. Seed on sealed ground is seed on a driveway. Sod just lays a rug over the same sealed ground, and that is why the edges brown out by August. And the $400 service mostly runs a machine over it and hands you a bill. And the crust comes right back next summer. The real fix is teaching that ground to drink again, and that is exactly what the $2 bottle does. I'll come back to why the evening hour matters so much, because that is the part everybody gets wrong. Now, everything I'm showing you today, this trick included, is written out plain in a little book I put together called The Old Ways: 50 Forgotten Lawn Secrets from America's Greatest Groundskeepers. It is 104 pages of the small, cheap, patient tricks the old groundskeepers taught me over 30 years, written down plain before the men who taught me are all gone. Part 2 covers watering deep and rare, mowing the way the groundskeepers did, and the overseeding and bare spot fixes that actually take, which is exactly where today's method has its own place. The book costs $17, marked down from $47, and I'd put it up against any $40 jug you buy every single year, and pour out by June. That's the kind of math the catalog stopped doing for you. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. Alright, so here's where we roll up our sleeves, because the recipe matters just as much as the timing. Go to your kitchen sink and get the dish soap. You want the plain, original kind, the simple stuff that costs about $2 a bottle at any grocery store. Not the antibacterial kind, not anything that says degreaser or bleach on the label. Just plain dish soap, the kind your mother washed plates with. Now take a 1-gallon watering can and fill it with water from the hose. Add 1 tablespoon of that dish soap. That is 1 tablespoon, a single measured spoonful, not a good long glug, and the difference matters. Stir it gently with a stick. Do not shake it into a can of foam, because you want soapy water, not suds. Now let me tell you what that spoonful actually does, because this is where the old groundskeepers were smarter than the shelf full of bottles. Water has a skin on it. You've seen a bug walk across a pond on that skin. The fancy name is surface tension, but all you need to know is that the skin is why water beads up on hard-baked soil instead of sinking in. Soap breaks that skin. Once the skin is broken, water stops sitting on top of your bare spot and starts soaking down into it. The greenskeepers at the golf courses were using soapy water on hard, water-shy patches long before anybody printed the words soil surfactant on a $30 bottle. Same idea, fancier label, 15 times the price. I know it sounds too plain to be true. Most of the best old tricks do. One warning before we go on. And it comes from 30 years of restraint on my own quarter acre. This mix is for the bare spot only, never the whole lawn, and more soap is not better. 1 tablespoon in 1 gallon, and that is the whole recipe. That handles the liquid, but it leaves you with a second job. Because even the best drink in the world will not grow grass without seed and a seed bed. So the same afternoon, go out to the bare spot with a garden rake, or a little hand cultivator. Scratch up that crust good. You are aiming for loose soil about 1/4 inch deep, roughly the thickness of 2 quarters stacked together. Rake off any dead thatch and pull it aside. Now sprinkle your grass seed over the loosened dirt and use a seed that matches the lawn around it. Spread it about as thick as you'd salt a plate of fries, enough to see it, not enough to pave it. Dust a thin 1/4 inch layer of soil or screened compost over the top. Then press the whole spot down firm with the flat of your shoe. Take your time with all of this. There is no rush, and a slow, careful job here beats a fast, sloppy one every single day of the week. So gather it back up before we move on. Scratch the crust, seed it, dust it, press it. That's the whole bed. And hold that thought about the sun, because the sun decides exactly when the next part happens. Now comes the part where the $2 bottle goes to work, and the part where the timing starts to matter. Wait until dusk, when the sun has dropped below the rooftops and the yard has gone into shadow. Carry your watering can out to the spot. Pour that gallon of soap mix slow and even over the seeded ground. 1 gallon handles a bare patch about the size of a kitchen table, with some left over for a second small spot. And watch what happens as you pour, because you will see it with your own eyes. The water does not bead. It does not run sideways. It goes straight down, and the ground darkens like a sponge taking its first drink in months. From then on, the routine is easy enough to do in your slippers. Every evening for the next 2 weeks, give the spot a gentle sprinkle of plain water, just a few minutes with the hose on a soft setting. You are keeping it damp, not drowning it. If you see the water start beating again partway through the week, give it one more round of the soap mix one time, and then back to plain water. With most cool season seed, you'll see the first green fuzz in 7 to 14 days. That is 7 to 14 days, sprouting through nights you slept clean through, which is where that promise in the title comes from. Now here is where most folks go wrong. So before the big answer, 1 minute of honesty, because I only recommend what works on my own quarter acre. This fix opens sealed, baked ground, and that is the cause of most stubborn bare spots. It is not the cause of all of them. If the spot is where the dog does her business, flush. That ground with plain water for a few days first, because the trouble there is salt, not crust. If the dead patch peels back like loose carpet, you may have grubs chewing the roots, and that is a different battle for a different video. And if the spot sits in deep shade under a maple, no liquid on earth grows sungrass in the dark. Treat the problem, not the whole yard. The old fellas taught me that too, which brings us to the part I promised you at the start. Why dusk? Why does the exact same recipe fail one man at noon and work for his neighbor at nightfall? Because of what the sun does to bare soil, and once you hear it, you will never water a bare spot in daylight again. A patch of bare, crusted dirt under the midday summer sun gets hotter than the air around it, often well past 100 degrees Fahrenheit right at the surface, hot enough that you would not hold your palm on it. Pour water on ground that hot, and a good share of it flashes off as vapor before it ever sinks in. And the sun is not done, because all day long it keeps pulling moisture up and out of the soil the way a lamp wick pulls oil, drying your spot from the top down hour after hour. Water at noon and you are pouring against that pump, and the sky wins. At dusk, the whole machine runs backward. The soil cools. The evaporation pump shuts off. The night air lays down dew, which is free water you did not have to carry. And your soap mix gets 8 to 10 quiet, cool, undisturbed hours to carry moisture down to where the seed is lying. Grass seed does not sprout on one splash of water. It sprouts on steady moisture, night after night, and the nighttime is the only time bare soil holds it. The man who kept the ball field downtown put it to me simple. He said the sun is stronger than your hose. So do your watering when the sun has gone home. That is the whole secret. And it is the difference between the folks who swear by this trick and the folks who swear it is junk. And that right there is exactly the kind of thing the old fellas taught me. The book has 49 more just like it, laid out just as plain. 104 pages of the cheap, patient tricks that beat the wall of bottles and bags. It is called The Old Ways. It costs $17, marked down from $47, and that is less than half of one bag of the patch mix that never took. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So remember it plain, neighbor. 1 tablespoon of dish soap in 1 gallon of water, a scratched and seeded spot, and all of it down at dusk. Tell me in the comments what your lawn is fighting right now and what state you're in. I read every single one. Next time, I'm going to show you why the old groundskeepers never watered on a schedule, and the 60-second screwdriver test they used instead that tells you the exact day your lawn is thirsty. Keep that lawn thick and green, my friend, and I'll see you over the fence.